What's up, guys? It's your girl Haley Pro, aka the SoundChick here. Featured on today's interview, we have a discussion with Robb Matthews from the band Ash to Dust. This is a great thrash metal band that incorporates a lot of different styles and techniques into their own albums and works, which you can hear very heavily within their most recent album, Demons Within. Of course, we discuss this album within the interview. However, we also cover topics such as the addition of Ashley Ruscetta, who is going to be the band's full-time permanent bassist, and the new projects that they're working on. This is definitely an interview you're going to want to check out, so keep on listening.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Robb Matthews. I'm in the band Ash to Dust, and you're listening to the SoundChick.
I'm just going to dive right in here. You guys just got a new bass player, Ashley Ruscetta. Hopefully I'm saying her last name correctly.
Yeah.
Thank God. So, how did Ashley become a member of the band? Did you guys reach out to her or vice versa?
I did want to say one thing. Yesterday was an extremely hard day. We lost an icon, an innovator. And, growing up, I was kind of young when Randy Rhoads died, so it didn't really affect me until later on in my life when I realized, oh, okay, yeah, this dude is amazing. I wish he was still alive. That's how it works. Same thing with Cliff Burton. But with Dimebag and Jeff Hanneman, that affected me pretty much because I'm a thrash guitar player. I'm a singer. Those are people I idolize, but I guess, to be honest, I didn't realize that I was so in tune with Eddie Van Halen. The last 24 hours, I've just kind of been numb. I realized, this has hit me a lot harder. I think it's really hit me about as hard as it did when my mom died, because I had the same emotion, the same feeling. I was like, man, there's never going to be another person like that, ever. Just like there'll never be another Randy Rhoads or anything like that. So before we started all this, I just wanted to send my condolences to Valerie Bertinelli, Wolfgang, Alex, the entire Van Halen family. Eddie was an icon, an innovator, and he will definitely be missed.
Absolutely. It's always, it's always sad when you see such an icon pass away, especially in the music industry. There's so many awesome, musicians that we've lost, not only in 2020, but within the past 3 years. It's hard.
And I know for Chris, being the drummer, when Neil Peart passed away, he was devastated, and I was like, am I reading this right? This really happened? It was the same thing yesterday. I was like, am I really is this really happening? I thought he got cured of cancer, but apparently not. So Eddie's gone. But Christopher, being our drummer, obviously who's not influenced by Neil Peart? You know what I mean? That really, really killed him. He's a huge Neil Peart and Chris Adler from Lamb of God fan. So that kind of killed it for him. It's crazy. But, basically with Ashley, how it worked is she's in a local band here as well, Deadwind. They were in Tennessee receiving an award for, I think it was Album of the Year or something of that nature for Deadwind. And I told Omar, I was like, hey, we're going to have some shows coming up because of the record label. We got to find somebody soon. I realized that, we want to make sure the fit's right, this and that. And Ashley was actually one of two people that came to mind. And I posted on Facebook. I was like, hey, me and Omar posted, we're letting the cat out of the bag. We're looking for a bass player. And she was the first person that messaged us. She's like, hey, I'm in Tennessee right now, but when I get back, I was like, all right, cool. We'll set up an audition. And Omar and I were pretty much as long as the chemistry's there, because we've known each other a while. We've played with Deadwind and stuff, and we just wanted to make sure that the chemistry was right, not just musically, but we all think of each other as family. For Christmas the last 2 years, we kind of made it a tradition. I cook Christmas dinner, everybody comes over, we eat, we just kind of BS, and and that's the thing with Ash to Dust. We're a family, we're musicians, but we're also friends, you know. We don't want to just be known as the band, you know. Like we try to hang out when we can or do things, you know, as friends. But at the end of the day, yes, it is a business, and you know, we consider ourselves family. So we just wanted to make sure that Ashley was the right fit. We knew that she could play. We knew that she could learn the songs. It was just a matter of Chris going to get along with her. Will Omar? Will I? You know, things like that. And I mean, her audition, you know, we had sent a couple songs that we play live that are off the first two albums. And I think Omar sent her one or two of the newer songs we're working on just so she could see where we're going with everything. And she came into the audition and she's like, hey, I got to be honest, you guys, like, I'm more of a sight person than reading it. So if I watch your fingers and things, I'll learn quicker. So we played, you know, 3 songs that we sent her. She did okay. And I could tell she was nervous. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, we're all good. Like, there's no reason to be nervous. So I was like, hey, why don't we all just play a couple covers that we all know or kind of know or semi know and just kind of, you know, play. And we ended up playing For Whom the Bell Tolls. We ended up playing The Trooper. From there, I was just like, okay, like, she's definitely got my vote, but she can play. But, you know, she worked out, and it's good. And, you know, one of our biggest queries was, you know, being in a band that's on a record label. We're going to start touring outside of Arizona. Are you cool with that? She's like, this is my dream. Yep, I'll do it. So that was pretty much the nail in the coffin that sealed the deal, so to speak.
That's awesome. Yeah, I absolutely love when bands, you know, take to that, you know, family aspect. Yes, it is a business, but, you know, you should be friends and family with your members. You know, you want to make sure that you have that good mesh and mold with everybody.
Exactly.
So having Ashley in your band now, what doors do you think could be open for the band, having her present?
Well, obviously she's a female, so that's definitely going to open and broaden our horizons for other female, you know, not only just artists, but fans, you know, especially fans, because, I mean, you get, look at the nature of the beast, you know, Black Sabbath, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, all these bands, Death Angel, whoever it may be, Iron Maiden, they're all guys, you know what I mean? Like White Zombie had a female bass player. I'm drawing a blank now. Obviously, Butcher Babies, 2 female singers. So, you know, for us, that was like a huge thing to be like, okay, now that we have a female in, hopefully, you know, we'll have females coming to the shows and enjoying the music and things like that, so that, you know, they can see that music and metal, just in general metal, it's not just about the sex, you know what I mean? Like, you can have a female in the band, you can have, I mean, look at the Iron Maidens. All 5 members are female and they all play Iron Maiden. It's amazing.
Right. I definitely think having a female presence can definitely widen your audience range there. So is the band working on new music, having a fresh member on board?
Yeah, actually, since COVID, we we started writing for a new album. We've gotten, basically how we're doing it is we're just kind of writing and taking bits and pieces and saying, okay, the song's not done, but it's done. So is there anything we can change? And then we go back, well, I don't like this hook, or Rob, can you change the line here, the lyric here, or, you know, basically whatever. So we've been kind of breaking down songs here and there. We've been writing a couple. We have about, I'd say 5, maybe 5, 4, 5, 6, somewhere around there. And, you know, having fresh ears, fresh eyes, bringing Ashley in, that's going to help too.
Right on. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing some new music from you guys, especially after listening to your most recent album, Demons Within, which kind of segues us into the next question here. For fans who have not listened to this album yet, what can they expect from it?
Okay. Well, let me give you kind of a backstory on it. Demons Within is actually, it's not, I wanted to try to do a concept album, so to speak, like King Diamond, Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime, something like that. But at the same token, the album is about what me and my daughter went through because her mom was a drug addict. She was getting high on meth, heroin, cheating on me, stealing, the whole 9 yards. So for anybody that's not heard the album, I would definitely recommend 100% listen to the lyrics. Not because I wrote them, but because that's what me and her went through. Case in point, the song Mother May I. When I wrote that song, lyrically, I was trying to actually go through my daughter's head and be like, what is she thinking? What does she see? So it's kind of like trying to go through her and say to her mom, like, well, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are you doing these things? These are bad, come back to us. So, basically the album it's not just about drug addiction, but it's about love and destruction and what drugs do to people and their families. It's basically is what the album is truly about. So for someone that hasn't heard it, I'm pretty sure that most people that have come to me, they're like, man, that song really touched me. I feel you on that. Or, what is this song about? They'll get an idea of what that's about now that I.
Right, it definitely seems like this album is very personal to you and your daughter. And it definitely goes in depth. You've got some great, melodies in this album. It's very unique. But I definitely can see how
we get that a lot. It's very unique.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed listening to it. I wasn't expecting all of the different components of this album. And honestly, I loved it. I mean, it was a very good surprise to me to see all of, these unique components that you guys took the time and care into putting into this album. So, there's so many exciting milestones that a band can make in their career. One of which is being signed to a record label. Your band, Ash to Dust, is signed with Misanthropic Records. How has that experience been for you guys so far?
It has been a dream come true, honestly. Like, I tell people all the time, when you're younger, it's all about the sex, the drugs, the money, the popular, whatever. But as you grow as a musician, you come to realize that for me, I don't need $1 million. I don't need a Rolls Royce, a Lamborghini. If I can play my music and see the world and make enough money to be able to, pay my bills, I'm a happy camper. You know what I mean? I don't need all that. And for us, being on the label, it opened a lot of doors for us. We've done a lot of interviews. We've gotten CD reviews, a lot of things that, we weren't able to do before. And now we're being offered, hopefully, if all goes well, we're going to have some shows next year that are like 3-day festivals, and we're going to be headlining one of those days on each of the festivals. So for us, it's kind of the next plateau. Like, we've saturated Arizona. People know who we are here. If you go to our website, people all around the world technically know who we are because, there's people all over that we can, like, the demographic we can see on the website. So it's like, oh, Canada visited us, and here and there. And same thing with our Facebook page and Instagram. There's a lot of people all over the world that know who we are. And, so for us, there's no end game for us. It's just been, I don't want to say it's been a crazy ride because it just started, but it's been amazing. The record labels done so much for us, and they always in contact with us, or our manager, and always like, hey, we're going to be doing this, would you guys be interested? Or we want to do this, we want to have you headline. I mean, right now, just sitting here in my house, like talking to you, it's like I'm going to headline a 3-day festival, like headline 2 hours of Ash to Dust. Like, that blows my mind. Misanthropic is a quote unquote indie label, but they work like they are Sony or Interscope or Geffen. They work for the bands, and to them, it's all about the bands. It's not about the money. It's not about how much can we make today or this or that. And that's something that, we always talked about, was like, hey, if we ever get to a label situation, obviously the the big thing is to get on a major label because that'll help you get to where you need to go. But, there's always that stepping stone, and the record label's always told us, hey, we're just here to get you to that next level, and that's what we're going to do. And I really appreciate Eric and Amanda and everybody at Misanthropic. They work so hard for us, and they've done an amazing job. And I tell all the bands here that I know, I'm like, hey, if you guys want to get signed, like, this is how it works. They'll sit down with you, da-da-da. You can negotiate a contract. So we'll see, hopefully I can get some more Arizona bands on the label and get the label a little more known.
Right, for sure. I mean, I'm so happy to hear, Ash to Dust's experience being definitely positive during this time. That's great that you're going to be able to headline a 3-day tour. That's absolutely amazing. Yeah. So, there's been a lot of perks that the band has gotten since being signed with them, and one of them is you guys actually have your own merch line now. Yeah, that's awesome. What is your favorite merch item that a fan can purchase?
To be honest, so with our website, you can buy certain stuff. We do have stuff that the store doesn't have. So having that store is just amazing because now we have a lot more different merch that people can see. It's not just a keychain, a sticker, a t-shirt. I mean, Omar's favorite thing, he was like, I want a fanny pack. I was like, are you serious, bro? You want a fanny pack? Like, really? Okay. So apparently that's Omar's favorite thing is the fanny pack. As far as Chris, I honestly couldn't tell you, but for me, it's definitely the hoodies and the baseball t-shirts, just because we have the Astra Dust / Jack Daniels logo on it. So it's it basically says Astra Dust established. It's just like a JD bottle and everything, but it's our like logo type stuff. So those two are probably my favorite items. And then the buttons themselves, because we haven't had buttons yet. We've had keychains, stickers, CDs, t-shirts, hoodies, things like that, but we've never had buttons. So the buttons are one of my favorite things too.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at your merch line and there's so many items you can choose from, which is so cool. It's definitely unique, and that's awesome. So, what would you say is the craziest thing you've done for music?
See, that one I don't really have an answer for because maybe it hasn't happened yet. I don't know. I guess the craziest thing for me, at least, again, can't speak for the guys, is I've bled for music. We were playing, in one of my previous bands, we were playing a place that didn't have a stage, so it was just the floor. And I got on the mic and I was like, all right, I want to see a pick going, this and that. And not realizing how close they actually were, a guy came around, and right as I went to start singing, he hit my mic stand and busted my eye open. So I turned around and I looked at my brother-in-law, who was the drummer at the time of the band. I was like, bro, am I bleeding? He's like, dude, you're bleeding. Like, I was like, is it bad? Do I need stitches? He's like, I can't tell. I was like, oh, well, show must go on, right? If I pass out, show's over, but let's go.
Right.
And, I didn't need stitches, but what happened is, the little graphs in the microphone, the little squares, you could see on my my eyelid for, I don't know, a good week. And it did get busted open, but it wasn't bad enough to where I needed stitches. So I guess I bled for rock and roll. I bled for metal. That's the craziest thing so far.
Yeah, I definitely say that qualifies as a crazy story. That's intense, but it makes for a great story, So kind of a win-win there, right?
Right.
So I have one last question for you, and that is, being a musician, and having accomplished all of these milestones in your career so far, what is some advice you would pass down to upcoming artists?
Never give up is one. Just never give up. I mean, there's been times, like when my mom passed away, and it was just me. Like there was Astra Dust, but Astra Dust was me. It was just me. And on her deathbed, I promised her, I was like, I'll never give up. Like, as long as there's blood in my veins, my heart pumping, I won't give up. And there were times where I was like, you know what? screw this. I'm selling all my gear. I'm just gonna, work a day job and that's it. I'll keep a guitar and play once in a while or write whatever. But that is the main thing is A, never give up, and B, always play from your heart. As long as you play from your heart, your music will be true. And no matter what anyone says, whether they like it, hate it, love it, want to marry you, whatever, the music came from inside you, your heart, your passion, and that's where music comes from, is your heart and your passion. It doesn't matter, like I said earlier, this is what they were feeling at the time, or this is what they were going through, or whatever. And that's the great thing about being a musician is, you can always express it through your music, whether you're depressed, you have anger issues, whatever it is, music, it will always be there to, let that release be. So, for me, it's just never give up, always write with passion, and follow your dreams. I know it sounds corny, but, follow your dreams.
Hey guys, it's the SoundChick here again. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Robb Matthews from Ash to Dust. In the meantime, please go make sure to check out the band's latest album, Demons Within. My personal favorite tracks are Mother May I and Unquiet Mind. You can also feel free to check out the album review I did on my website. To access this review, just go to www.thesound-chick.com/albums. There you will find the Demons Within project as well as many other albums I have reviewed. I appreciate having you on this interview and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. If you're interested in reading up more of my interviews or music reviews that I do, follow me on my social media on Twitter or Instagram at RealSoundChick. This is a great place to see all of my updates, so definitely check it out there. In the meantime, rock on, my dudes.